I know I'm a little behind on videos and projects and whatnot. I'm in a campsite now. I've been busy tinkering, fixing things, working on things, just trying to relax too, so I haven't really been fooling with making videos or doing much lately. But I thought I would share this little piece of knowledge, because a lot of people have these, whether it's a two-stroke or a four-stroke. This is something to know. If you're got a bad gasket leak and it keeps, overheating because you're leaking exhaust, out right here, and it keeps backfiring. And when they backfire a little bit, sometimes that'll make them run a little better, give them a little more pep, but that's not exactly good on the engine. You burn your piston out, especially for a four-stroke. You burn your plug, your rings, all that stuff. So I made a temporary gasket because I just got to go into town tomorrow and I didn't want to pack up camp. So I'm just going to take the moped, and it's just a couple miles, if that, to go to the Walmart because I'm not far out of town. And so I just took a pop can because the original gasket on it was a piece of shit. Where's that? Let me see. Okay, it is destroyed. And it was like that. That's why it's been going so good. I've been wondering why this thing rides so fast for the size engine it is. I've been getting close to 40 miles an hour, sometimes 40 miles an hour on the flats with this thing. And I've been wondering why it does so good. Like, stock carburetor and everything's fine. And then while I was riding it, I started realizing, because now I'm finally riding in shorts. Before, when I was riding in pants, I couldn't notice this. Riding in shorts, that's not from this, I could feel on the side of my leg wind coming out the side of the engine. And I was like, surely that's not just the wind blowing off the muffler. So I start feeling around it and everything. Sure enough, it's had an exhaust leak right there. So I took it off and everything, took the guard off, because the guard was part of the problem. This thing was part of the problem. They send you this guard and the gasket, but they only send you the one gasket. So it doesn't matter which side you put that gasket on, you're going to have no gasket on one side. And there was my leak. And leaking enough heated up this plate, fucked up my gasket. The only gasket I had. I should have just not used this to begin with, and I'd have been better off. So I know it lets some heat, there, but it'll be okay. So that's just electric tape and pop can cut to fit. And there's a lot of electric tape wrapped around that piece of pop can. Once that fails, which it will, I'll do the same thing but with this. And just keep rewrapping this every time the tape starts to melt away. So the trick is you put it on there, you make the gasket, some sort of sheet metal tape all the way around it, both sides. Put it on, you go for a ride, you heat it up a little bit, maybe 2 or 3 passes. Just quick passes, giving it full revs, let it get hot, let it melt that tape, and then park it while it's still hot. Just be careful not to touch the muffler. Tighten the bolts back down because, melted, so there's going to be some wiggle room in there now. You tighten it back down, and then, you go for another ride, and you do that until it stops leaking exhaust. You keep doing that until you don't have to do it no more. And once you don't have to do it no more, you're good for a few rides, maybe one good ride, which is all I need to depend on it for, because it's just a temporary emergency gasket. So I can go get groceries. I don't want it to overheat and stuff on the way to or from getting groceries, because when it overheats, I gotta wait like 20 minutes or so for it to cool down, and then it'll start right back up just fine. And I don't want to be standing on the side of the road in the sunlight burning up for like 20 minutes. And it's still a pedalable bike, but you try to pedal this thing very fast, somehow it engages the freaking clutch. You can still roll start this thing, even though it's an automatic. There's no manual clutch or nothing, but if you pedal fast enough, you can engage the clutch. I think that's the same way with a regular car too, an automatic car. If you can tow it and get it going fast enough and throw it in drive, it'll jump start it. Centrifugal force is a bitch. But anyways, just thought I'd share that bit of knowledge. And I temporarily put this basket on there. I don't have bolts long enough, so I use wood screws going into wood. There's bits of wood underneath there securing it. I was originally supposed to bolt this down. The bolts I was going to use were a hair too short. So that's okay. So it's on there very securely. Wood screws going into wood. It's on there very tight. It ain't going nowhere. It's just for some groceries. Plus, I'll have my backpack with me, and put stuff on there and on the handlebars, whatever. I've got plenty of food. I just want to stock up with a little more and get some more Gatorade, whatnot. But yeah, and I got really lucky. Some people, I don't want to put them on camera in case they don't want to be on camera. But they got me a new Master Link. I did shear the freaking chain, the Master Link, the original one. This whole thing was out of line, out of whack. It jumped off, but it jumped off to the inside. And there's not hardly any room for the chain on the inside, so it was like wedging its way in there, which caused the Master Link to shear. Not break, not shear. It turned into the shape of an S. It almost sheared. I couldn't fix it. I tried to fix it and straighten it up, and I was going to brad it back together as a regular link, not a Master Link anymore, and just nothing would work. They were nice enough. I tried to pay them. They wouldn't let me pay them for it. Thankfully, there's nice people out there. My next problem is, let me get this, I'll show you. This is what I'm going to use to fix the problem. So my next problem I got to fix, which I've been writing it and keeping my close eye on it. It doesn't seem to be a big issue at the moment. I'll probably wait till after I go grocery shopping. Although I should probably fix it beforehand. I'm just not in the mood. Yeah, you can see that. Why this part, the inner part of these mounting brackets is cast iron. That is the worst idea I've ever heard of. Making an engine mounting bracket out of cast iron. Something that vibrates like crazy. Make it out of cast iron. You gotta be stupider than a box of rocks. But anyways, I was adjusting it, and then I put this screw, same thing on both sides, to keep it from pulling itself back forward to loosening the chain any further. Because I've been having trouble. That's part of my issue, is keeping the chain tensioned. I've got that tensioner as far as it'll go. And so I've put the engine back as far as it'll go. And then I put that screw, that one on the other side. See, this is a little off whack. This can go back further. I just didn't tap it all the way. For good reason. I stopped fucking with it when it cracked. That crack could have already been there. I don't know. I've been hitting a lot of potholes and stuff in the off-road here. So I probably cracked it by tapping the engine plate back. You loosen these up, and then you slide it back and forth or whatever, and then you can also loosen the ones on the bottom up and slide it side to side on the engine. So, yeah, I got to fix that. But, yeah, I'll show you how I'm going to fix that. So I'm going to cut this out, just a long section, just a flat plate with all the holes in it, a long section, right? And it's going to get bolted onto there, and then it'll also, not that it needs it there, but I'll probably put that one back in it, so this will go through that too, but it'll get wrapped around and bolted onto here. And I preemptively want to do the same thing on the other side. Actually, I want to wrap it all the way around and bolt it there and there. I want to do that because, well, it's cast iron. I expect it to shatter eventually. Yeah. So far, everything's been doing fine. Still good pull, good compression, it feels like. Oh, I forgot to break these all the way off. They were ground down, but that one's still just hanging there too, like a little bee's tail. Yeah, just scraps of wood. I took my machete and just cut some scraps of wood from a board because I was too ornery to get a saw out and cut it. And then I kind of pre-drilled little holes through it so it wouldn't split, because I did not want to fuck with getting the saw out and cutting decent scraps of wood, because this is just temporary. I was not trying to fool with making this look pretty. These are just temporary. I want to get the bolts. I'll probably get them while I'm at Walmart, long enough bolts. And then there we go. Bob's your uncle, or whoever, whatever. I don't care who your family is. Yeah. Just simple. Little basket. Makes me have to sit a little further forward on the seat, and that's scooting it as far back, because I don't want, there's a little lip underneath here that I don't want down off the bar. So you can see how this basket has these little lips all the way, this little pattern. Well, if I have that off the bar right there, I was afraid it would like sag too much, and because this is just a weak little basket, you know, it's gonna be sitting out in the sun. It might dry rot the plastic anyways. I'd be better off putting a whole sheet of plywood down in it anyways, like last time I did this to a bicycle. And it'll last me a little bit longer, because even when this starts to break, that sheet of plywood's still holding it all together at the bottom. So I'll probably do that. I've got access to some plywood here. But yeah, just a quick, simple little way. Without even, like, there's no holes, no cuts, or nothing in this basket. I just drilled into the bike. Technically, didn't even have to drill into the bike. I could have did this same deal underneath and just made a clamp. So, but I drilled it into the bike, because I've already modified this bike. Like the fender mostly. The rest of it's not really modified. Yeah, I don't think I've done anything to the bike. Just the fender. Yeah. The fender hangs a little weird now. Like it's not attached the way it used to be. The bar that used to attach it kept like rubbing the tire. I think that's because I had to adjust the bearings and stuff. And so the tire's not in its original location. So it's just kind of hanging there. Oh shit. That is vibrated loose. Well, I might bob the muffler and like, I don't know, maybe just take the muffler off, because that's almost off. I hate this muffler. It's not designed for what I want it for. I do like the seat though, and the handlebars, they're nice and comfy. Got a nice full tank of gas, ready for tomorrow. Yep. Like, subscribe, let me know what you think.